Doctor Who is collapsing in real time, not with a bang, not with a grand regeneration, but with silence and confusion, and a single uncomfortable interview that broke the illusion for millions of fans. It should have been a celebration. Ncuti Gatwa, one of the youngest, most physically dynamic actors to ever take on the Doctor, had delivered one of the most vibrant, magnetic performances in recent memory. But just as quickly as he arrived, he was gone, and the explanation felt fake. "I'm getting old," Gatwa said. "My body was tired. He's 31. He does it." The internet didn't believe it, because behind that awkward BBC smile and the forced chuckle, something was clearly wrong. Why did he really leave? And why does Russell T Davies now claim he doesn't know who the Doctor is anymore? This is the most confusing regeneration in Doctor Who history, and it might be the last. The moment came on Sunday with Laura Kuenssberg, a serious BBC political show, not the kind of setting you expect a sci-fi actor to break character. And yet, there was Ncuti Gatwa shifting in his seat, nervously smiling. He told the host he was getting old, and his body was tired. The clip went viral for all the wrong reasons. Fans immediately pointed out that Gatwa is among the youngest actors to ever play the Doctor. Younger than Capaldi, Tennant, Smith, even McGann. And far fitter. In the same breath, he even joked that he'd just started ballet. So why was this the story being told? Was it a PR script? Or was it an exhausted actor trying to say something without breaking a non-disclosure agreement? Because what's even more confusing is what Gatwa said before. In interviews just a few months earlier, including a famous Graham Norton appearance, he was talking about future seasons, about fighting the Daleks, about building on the legacy of past Doctors. There was no sign of burnout, no sign of departure. Even in behind the scenes clips from the reality war, Gatwa appears emotional, but not fatigued. If anything, he seems like a man being pushed out, not walking away. So what happened in between? What changed? Some fans now believe the answer lies with Disney, because ever since the global Disney deal kicked in, the show hasn't been the same. Over budget, over managed, and somehow under-communicated. The BBC has said nothing. There is no official press release confirming Billie Piper as the next Doctor. There is no trailer, no casting announcement, no follow-up episode on the horizon. The much-hyped 2025 Christmas special, apparently scrapped, a 2026 season, not even in pre-production. Even Gatwa himself, in that same BBC interview, admitted, "I don't know who the next Doctor is." This isn't just confusing. It's chilling. Because the last time Doctor Who fell into this kind of silence, it didn't return for 16 years. Russell T Davies, the show's once venerated savior, has added only more confusion. In a recent podcast appearance, he laughed when asked if Billie Piper was now the Doctor and replied, "No idea! I don't even know what's happening anymore." On the surface, it's a joke. But in context, it's disturbing. Because the showrunner of Doctor Who, the man who's supposed to be guiding this ship, is either being evasive, or he's no longer in control. Either answer should worry fans. And now we come to the biggest red flag of all, the TARDIS itself. Leaks have confirmed that the full set, the enormous, high-tech rebuild first seen in the 60th anniversary, has been sitting unused since 2022. And Bad Wolf Studios, the production company responsible for the modern revival, has had enough. They've reportedly given the BBC an ultimatum: decide the future of Doctor Who within 8 weeks, or we're walking away. That's not just a threat. That's a deadline. And right now, the BBC isn't meeting it. For fans, this wasn't just a confusing regeneration. It was a betrayal of the format. There was no handover, no proper goodbye, no passing of the torch. Gatwa's Doctor didn't get to meet his successor. There was no farewell speech. No, "I don't want to go." No moment where the universe paused to honor his time. He simply blinked out of existence. Regenerated into Billie Piper, who may or may not be the next Doctor, and vanished into the void of franchise silence. Even Gatwa himself seemed emotionally distant in his final moments. There's no clear answer. No roadmap. Just an actor who looks as confused as the audience. One of the final oddities of Gatwa's exit came from an entirely unexpected place: Eurovision. Before the Interstellar Song Contest aired, a Doctor Who episode set during a galactic version of Eurovision, it was announced Gatwa would appear live during the real-life Eurovision broadcast that same night. It was a clever meta tie-in, until it wasn't. Gatwa pulled out just days before the event. No explanation was given. Rumors flew. Some claimed health issues. Others believed it was a scheduling issue tied to his new film, The Roses, alongside Benedict Cumberbatch and Olivia Colman. In the BBC interview, Gatwa simply said, "It all panned out very interestingly." He claimed to have pulled out long before it was announced. A PR delay. But fans remain unconvinced. Was he distancing himself from the brand? Or was the brand distancing itself from him? Here's the truth few want to admit: Ncuti Gatwa never got a full run. Yes, he technically had 2 seasons. But between staggered filming, Disney delays, and fan confusion over bit generation, his doctor was never allowed to settle. Storylines were rushed. Character arcs were clipped. Even his regeneration into Billy Piper didn't come with an in-universe explanation. Was it forced by outside forces? Was it a symbolic nod to past eras? Or was it simply a franchise flailing to keep attention during production chaos? Gatwa's doctor may go down as the most underdeveloped in modern Who history. And none of it was his fault. One of the final mysteries lies not with the actors or even the producers, but in the fine print of a contract. According to industry leaks, the BBC cannot make any future announcements, casting, scheduling, or even confirmation of a new season until one last Disney-related obligation is fulfilled. That obligation: the release of The War Between the Land and the Sea, a long-delayed spin-off show that was supposed to expand the universe. Until that project airs in full, the BBC is contractually gagged. No casting confirmations, no doctor reveals, no clarity, just carefully worded interviews, vague smiles, and an entire fandom screaming into the void. Despite all of this, Gatwa left the door open. In his BBC interview, when asked if he might return someday, he replied, "Never say never. It's a hopeful answer, or maybe a forced one." But what matters is the silence that followed. There was no celebration of his exit, no tribute, no companion farewell, just a fade to black and more questions than answers. Doctor Who has faced cancellation before. It has been rebooted, rewritten, and revived more times than any TV show in history. But this feels different. This feels like death by indecision. Ncuti Gatwa's exit wasn't just a goodbye, it was a warning shot. The TARDIS is empty, the Doctor is undefined, the studio is silent, and if the BBC doesn't act, within weeks, Doctor Who may vanish again, not with a bang, but with a whimper. Because what's happening now isn't a regeneration, it's decay, and time is running out.